Five Nights at Floppa's, a hilariously blatant ripoff to Five Nights at Freddy's. That's also in Russian. How are these paid Steam games that pirate FNaF still up? And why are they so popular? To answer this, as well as talking with the creator, I'll be taking a look at and dissecting each Floppa game. And trust me, you wanna see for the end, as they really get crazy here. Five Nights at Floppa's 1. First night in and... What? Thank God they added an English dub as an update. Anyways, although this night is kinda pointless since we have no one to watch out for, we actually get a huge lore drop here. And yes, there's Floppa lore. We work as a security guard in an insurance company that was doing so-so financially until they found a big, strange cat in their warehouse. They decided to keep it as a company pet or something. We're then told that this actually makes the company a hit, giving hundreds of clients just to come look at the big cat. So much so that even though it became quote-unquote meaner and freaking killed the guy, they still kept him for the money. Yes, that's our biggest pieces of lore. Night 2 is where we get actual gameplay. This is Floppa. He wanders around the building and he occasionally goes over to Camp 8 where the company director works. The guy for some reason leaves his dumplings overnight in the open and then instructs us not to let the cat eat them. We prevent this by staring at him through the cameras when he's in the room until he leaves. If we fail to do so, I guess we get fired and this game over screen shows up. He also comes to our office. We can just turn on our lamp to stop him whenever we hear him knocking somehow. Night 2 done. Alright, while we wait for something new to happen this night, why do I say the game series is illegal? I mean, there are hundreds of FNaF fan games out there, right? Well, first of all, since it never credits itself as being one, and mostly since they're selling hundreds of copies of the game on freaking Steam, even at a lower price than actual FNaF games, it's literally an illegal ripoff. Scott Cawthon could have sued FreezyCat, but he didn't, and kept the games up. Why? Well, I'll explain it in a bit, because this is Bingus and Popcat. We're told that previous employees had actually seen Bingus appear on a TV screen before. Our phone guy suspects it was just a prank, but then also tells us that if we ever see him, we have to stare at him and turn off our lamp.
I don't know why I said that.
Popcat appears the next night. He occasionally tries to spawn himself in a random room. We get no warnings and have to find him quickly to stop his creation before he instantly kills us. All these mechanics at once add actual difficulty. That's why Night 5, aka Hardcore, is incredibly hard. I mean, I couldn't even beat it. After so long, I just searched up the ending to see. Bruh. FreezyCat told me he had made his first ever project in Unity, Floppas, when he was 14, solely for money purposes. The amount of money he ended up making is honestly really surprising. He made, yes. If you guys want the shoutout, just do one click on the subscribe button. As it's free, you can always undo it and it would mean so much to me. Anyways, he ended up making $0 in all of his efforts due to sanctions, which leads the next two games to actually not be on Steam yet, as that cost $100 to put up. And also they have no English translation. Flopz 2 is honestly insane. It directly continues the first game, being in our 6th night, but now in 3D. We're told that the office had some renovations. There's no longer any cameras, but to replace it, there's an alert system implemented onto the TV and now a ventilation system. Phone guy tells us that Floppa was actually kicked out, but later we see he found a way back inside. He no longer cares about the dumpling, and his sole mission is just to kill us, no matter if our lamp is on or off. Whenever we see him open our door or see the warning message on the TV, we gotta quickly hide behind our desk before he sees us. We also can't stop Popcat from appearing anymore. He just comes at us from the vents, and we must quickly shut it off before he can enter. Lastly, Bingus now acts the opposite way. Instead of having to turn off a light, we must directly shine him with our lamp or flashlight when he appears. Now you might be wondering, why can't we just leave the lamp on, close the vents, and hide behind the desk? It's because we now have limited power. And yes, that's connected to our flashlight somehow. And it runs so quick even when you're not using it, adding an extra layer of difficulty to the game. Anyways, since Floppa was kicked out, they lost 90% of their income, which probably influences the fact that the electricity can go out for no reason. You can turn it back on by pulling the lever, which is right in front of the door where Floppa comes from. Unlike the phone guy says, but no, it gets even harder. Last night, there's a huge power outage in the town, leaving us only with a flashlight in the dark. No longer do we get a warning in the TV, and the door stays wide open. It's weirdly kind of unsettling. Similar to FNaF 4, where you have to put all your concentration to if you hear breathing, making jump scares extra scary. This night has to do the exact same thing, but both with the audio and visually. Well, we beat it and don't have to return as the company is shutting down. This would have been the end if not for Floppa 3, the original ending to the trilogy. And this game is incredibly better than the last two, gameplay and also lore wise, being my personal favorite. So again, before I tell you why they're illegal, Floppa and all the cats have come to our house, still wanting revenge. Phone guy quickly calls us, telling us that they're opening a new company soon and they've already already hired us and another guy for the night watch job. He tells us though that he just tried calling this other guard, only to be told that he's started to have traumatic dreams. He wakes up, has to hold the door preventing Floppa from entering, flashes the bald cat, watches a third one on the cameras until he is suddenly killed by a fourth? Kinda smart way to tell us our gameplay loop. Bingus tries to creep into our window. We have to flash him like usual. Floppa also wanders around the house until coming to our room where he tries to open the door. We have to forcefully remain it shut. Then Popcat. He's actually the most different and hardest to deal with. He's fully foreign and no doors can stop him. He starts at camp 3. If he moves to camera 2, we have to stare at him before he reaches us until he goes back. While we're dealing with this every night, we have this dream? I'm not sure. I also think we start hallucinating as our phone guy tells us that the other, now crazy guard, started seeing random dumplings around that really weren't there. We see a ball of them right on our desk. Later, on night 4, we get greeted by this cat. Whether he's an illusion or not, he can still kill us. If we see him on our PC, we have to instantly look away. As each night goes on, our mental health gets worse. Until the 5th night, where our phone guy tells us, "You've probably questioned who I am, why I call you every night, what nonsense I am telling you, and what crazy things are going on with you. It's very simple and easy to explain." Then he hangs up. The night goes on as usual, until suddenly we're kicked from behind. We pass out. We can't remember much until...
Hello? Ты новый охранник?
You're probably wondering what this all means, and honestly I have no idea. And it doesn't look like the creator knows either. FreezyCat knew that people were playing his games, and months later, being a bit older, he decided he would pour a bunch of hard work into making the best actual final Floppa game as a final thank you. This one actually being on Steam and all. 5 Nights at Flopz Zero? Well, as this is the last one, why didn't Scott ever take down any of these games? Well, because honestly, it really doesn't affect him. Past games had been taken down due to similarities of some of the characters. Like this bear that looked too much like Freddy. Basically, Scott doesn't really care about the money the games get. He just wants to make sure that the people who buy these games are aware that it has nothing to do with the actual franchise itself and its reputation doesn't get hurt. And as we see with every 5 Nights at Floppa's game, there aren't any animatronics and or bears, chickens, foxes, etc. They're literally all just cats. You might think that it would be obvious for people playing these games to distinguish between the real and fake thing, but a lot of FNaF players are really young children. So when these takedowns happen, it's because they really want to make a good first impression and make sure the kids know that this is an actual part of the franchise. Real good call though. Flopz Zero is either a sequel, a prequel, or a reboot. But anyways, it's like we're in the first ever game. Same mechanics and all with all 3 cats, but now in a way more polished and HD way. We also have a different phone guy, which being honest, kinda just sounds like a guy hired for Fiverr.
Everything stays the same besides small additions like Nightmare Floppa that can jump scare us if we don't flash him. And the ending. We actually get freaking shot by the phone guy on the head at the end of this one. You can probably tell that FreezyCat wanted to up the level of maturity, at least with the ending, which is why he doesn't plan on making another Floppa game. Of course, he still loves to make FNaFS games for people, even if he's not getting paid, but he started to feel limited in making memey cute games that attract an audience of really young children. So after well thinking, he decided he would make another FNaF type game. Still a funny jokey game, but now he would get rid of all the little kids raiding his DMs. He would attract a way older audience while still keeping the spirit of the old games. FreezyCat went around with ideas until finally releasing FNaFS. I'm not gonna try to cover this game much unless it's just like 50k views or 20 comments saying people want it, but to keep it vague, the game is actually kinda creative. We work as an overnight guard in a museum for Soviet... really glad that the person isn't actually real. It's a statue of them. It tries to leave the building, making us stare at it to prevent them to. Later on, they and some other statue people try to come and kill us. And oh, what is the same as Floppa? Anyways, normal FNaF lore has gone off the rails. If you wanna find out why, go watch this video. Oh, this took me so long to make. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe.